roast. He was just like straight in for the kill. Like I said in the draft, this is a lot more aggressive in the early game here. Cannon Blast not quite hitting the mark there from Clue, but it's going to be enough to tear away the side of Kuaishou Gaming.
It's scary, right? Like, you're going to be laning with one of the best Clash laners coming into KPL, and also the FMVP. Like, it's going to be so much pressure, especially for T-Gold, where he has the skill too. But again, so many projects that he needed to be wary of, and Florentino was one of them.
The most hilarious thing in Knight is obviously switch lane. He's thinking to himself, thank the Lord, that's top side. Like, he's like, I don't want to get died. I don't want to die first. But he's having just as hard of a matchup here against obviously you into the bot side of the map. One, you really struggles against that rage. Yeah, then again, it's very interesting, right? Like, if we're talking about range here, that's why Florentino is going to be matching up with Arlie. He wants to play the poking game from T-Gold, and that's why the Guan Yu is stated on the laning phase with Yi the Tita. So that's why it's a more aggression coming in from PSG. A lot more aggression, but again, once we see Clue's health bar fall down here, you are trying to land a Cannon Blast on such a agile hero. The takedown once again for Kuaishou Gaming. They're picking up 3 kills already and already doing some great damage to the structure top side of the map.
Insane, absolutely insane. I know now why his name is Silence, because the gameplay of his is doing all the talking on this match.
Literally, I don't think I need to do PvP for Silence's gameplay, right? Like, he's just like, okay, just watch him, learn. It's impactful. That's all you need to know. Yeah,
it's just the amount of pressure that is coming in from the Clash lane, just pressuring T-Gold bit by bit, and it's on the second minute. And look at the points, look at the gold coming in from G. It's about 1,500.
Yeah, I'm going to see a little bit more of here in terms of the early game from Virtus Pro. They're trying to get out here of Luliang, but he's going to be just across that mid lane. It's hard to lock down that Mai Shiranui, and Lord knows, he's tried locking down Silence on the Florentino. It has not quite gone to scale. Highland falls top side of the map once again. It's just a bloodbath already for Kuaishou Gaming.
Dude, Silence is an amazing addition coming into KS. That mentality, destroying the whole laning phase of 2 heroes. Now, T-Gold has switched to the mid lane, and Hailang has been tasked to do the 1v1. But again, with the double ultimate, the double life, Hailang still loses.
He does 90, trying to go with a good there, but it's going to be that CC. You only have a little bit. Jai with a pickup for the side of Virtus Pro. They get a first kill, but like you were saying literally moments ago, Rookie, the damage to the gold lead right now, that's something that's going to be harder to actually repair onto the side of Virtus Pro.
Yeah, that's why they picked Pei, right? Like, to match up the pace of Florentino. They just want that early game pressure, but
Yes, indeed. T-Gold gets taken down into his own jungle. If you're not safe at 4-minute mark in your own jungle, where will you be safe as Virtus Pro to maintain his life in the lane?
Right, Hailang just to hop from the Florentino and coming in. Look at you how just soloing every objectives onto Virtus Pro. Virtus Pro had their lead in the first game, but on the second game, KSG took the wheel, threw it out of the car, and drove away.
Hey, I want to say, somebody has confidence within Virtus Pro, because that voting box is definitely a little bit higher onto the side, on their side, right? It's not all the way down being hammered onto the side of quite. They're voting for Virtus. It's not me.
But then again, it matters, right? When you're at the lowest and therefore against one of the giants of KPL, KSG, you need support that you can get.
Absolutely, support and more, right? I mean, we're trying to see here Clue trying to be the best support he can as possible, but it's just so agile into the back line. 90 has to be there to try and feed his team, but if he gets stuck there with this Guan Yu, it's going to be a bloodbath once again for him. But bottom side of the map here as well, we just see Juhao just pushing even more turrets. It's once again the 2-for-1 down bot side.
It's so scary, right? Looking at Juhao just pressuring so much of the map here, and we know that KSG is a very aggressive aggressive team. They love to pressure those side lanes, and that's what they've been doing since the first minute. Look at 90 building the respect item of Frigid Charge, but look at T-Gold just disappearing.
I feel like the spectators, it's so fast, the spectators struggling to keep up with Kuaishou Gaming. Jai Bao doesn't have the itemization to keep him alive. You with the double kill as they look to push the high ground. We have Highlang with the poke, but it's not going to be enough.
Ooh, Highlang just trying to defend here, opening up the map, just defending the high ground. But 90 on the other side of the map, just to out macro KSG. But look at the sheer amount of gold difference in from KSG here. 4,800 gold on
Alone. If we look at the that's the part. Like normally, yes, okay, gold is very impressive, but we are pre-10 minutes. We are 6 minutes and almost 30 seconds, and Kuaishou Gaming have an even stronger lead in game number 2. They're able to maintain the Azure Golem on the side of Virtus Pro, but what good is that when your bot side's completely fallen? Means that that red Crimson Golem is free reign for Kuaishou Gaming.
It's going to be very interesting. Look at VP, how they could come back from this lead from KSG.
Yep.
Because right now they can only hold the game as long as they can. And we're gonna look at the replay real quick. And Liulang did an amazing job at knocking up the players of VP. And Jabao, it hasn't had given many options for him to disengage. And looking at Yi just annihilating 2 players from VP. There hasn't been one answer from...
We're all trying to head. What maintain game number 2? I feel like right now it's almost a impossible turn back, right? Like we are seeing the point of no return for Virtus Pro in game number 2. It feels like they're just gonna have to try and just go blow for blow and just make sure they go into game number 3 with a better draft. But currently right now, obviously we do see the Either Phoenix being built here for Jai Bao. He's gonna be a little bit more tanky. Highlang has to be careful. He has the Freight Rewind. He uses it as well to keep himself and return that enemy bar. But it's also gonna be the takedown of the Crimson Golem. Now into the backline, it's gonna be the Liam Po. LFF is putting on so much pressure, but now we see 90. He goes in for the dive, but he leaves open T-Gold. It's the think inside the box where we see 2 members inside the Kuaishou Gaming get taken down, but it's the minion wave towards the base. It's gonna be a pressure once again for Virtus Pro to have to tend.
Dude, Highlang is a genius. He pops his ult just to get the marks on the players of KSG, dealing so much damage, annihilating half of the HP of all the players from KSG. But again, respect is still their main focus. I think like if you're going against a team that is aggressive as KSG, I think you should be more aggressive too. Don't be afraid to fight back, because they were in the winning position. They could pressure out KSG, even taking out Juhao, but Juhao knew that the enemy team, VP, was respecting them too much. That's why he was trying to bait them out again, to punish them in the front line. But again, a good try coming in from VP.
Yeah, I mean, they are trying, right? They definitely need to just make sure they're mounting a decent defense here for the side of Virtus Pro, but it's still not doing anything to that gold wrap right now. We see the damage here from VP. Highlang is at the top here, so even though they're behind, see the of this draft.
Yeah, very interesting coming in 10 minutes of the game. It'll be the golden mark of KPL. The first 10 minutes is all about control, and after the 10 minutes, it's gonna be about domination coming in.
Speaking of domination, there we're gonna rewind the potential for the side of Kuaishou. We do see all the man marks here covered by VP's Highlang just to try and do a little bit more damage. Like I said in the previous, the CC of Unity for Florentino. Game there, Silence gets it, he's silent but deadly, he gets out, but now we're seeing the burst damage potential from Kuaishou Gaming. They trade LFF for Jai Bao. That is not a good trade.
Right, T-Gold has been amazing this match, just trying to keep his gold lead, but again, 0 farm laner could be a bit of a heavy burden for him to carry. That's why KSG, they're always trying to shut down T-Gold and also 90 out of the team fight. While VP is protecting 90, T-Gold has been left alone so many times, making the team fight so difficult for VP without their main damage dealer.
Yeah, very difficult here. I mean, they need to be making sure that Jai Bao stays itself as alive, like I've said, not only for the spike potential, but also the damage output here for the side of Virtus Pro. We do see them kind of amalgamating around about the Azure Golem just to keep making sure that Jai Bao is fed up. He has the Azure Golem, because it becomes a lot harder to dictate these team fights when you are behind in terms of mana, in terms of CD reduction. We have the mid wave being pushed through, as well as the bot side of the map as well. Highline does have the one, but a lot of damage has been put through. He gets impaled by you, and now one member on the side of Virtus Pro that's been taken down. He has committed the ultimate but cancelled it. It's enough to zone the way the side of Virtus Pro. Jai Bao has to retreat into the recall territory, and they're trying to throw the spears. They're trying to do enough damage, but Kuaishou Gaming in a quicker time take game number 2.
It's gonna be the master against the student. Kuaishou Gaming teaches VP to take game 2.
They do take game 2 here. The problems that we had in game number 1 is the fact that they lost a T2 straight after a T1. This was something that was not improved onto the side of Virtus Pro. If not, it was something that for Kuaishou Gaming, they topped. They got all the way to the T3 like almost 6 minutes, right? Like, that's something that you don't want to be letting happen. You want to try and make sure you're making these changes on the side of Virtus Pro that enables this not to happen, not enabling it to happen more.
This is a total game for Silence on this match. He was dominating since the first minute, getting the first kill against T-Gold and punishing so much on the team fight. That's why we said that Silence, or the Florentino, is going to be very dominating on the first laning phase, and there wasn't any answer from that question. T-Gold getting a 5-1 KDA, getting punished almost every team fight, and the funneling is going to the jungle and clashing again and again, making them very strong for those long-term big damage team fights.
Exactly. Keyword, funneling. So we're going to funnel it back to the analyst desk. Let's see what Coach Kin can do to keep me awake this time.
Well, you know, I think the interesting thing about this bounty is that we have set it up for one game for $10,000, a full set can beat KSJ and GAL. But now I'm going to think, maybe can we give like 5,000 if the game goes longer than 15 minutes? Can we throw a little bit somewhere? I mean, because that's the challenge right now. That's the challenge.
I agree, man. Like right now, in terms of this game, it was very difficult for VP because of the way that KSG opened the game.
Yeah.
I do believe that they had a very clear idea. VP, they want to do the exchange, right? Like nine, they their lane, they can that just that. Okay, too cool. They are. What about if we just turn that into core by just gold?
You something about the draft. I know we have, but Ken, thought of stalling them either in the draft or in the gameplay. I mean, it feels like I'm watching Shakespeare written in HOK the way that they're playing.
So that actually was the position for the side of Hailong on the Hano, right? He's supposed to be able to repair towers. Now, if you're new to HOK, Hano, the mid laner that Hailong has been playing in this game, if you use his ultimate around towers that have been taken, either take damage or has been crumbled down, if you use your ultimate within 5 seconds, you can actually restore the position of that tower where at 5 seconds. That was not the case with Isaac. He's supposed to be protecting the T1s, reviving the towers of the tier 1s. Last time he used it, it was on the tier 2. It was too late. There was not enough time on the side of VP at all.
Time is of the essence too, because these games keep getting shorter and shorter, Isaac. So it's not like VP with some of these adjustments are making things better. In fact, you mentioned a bit before we dive into the draft with Ken that the draft just didn't seem to make as much sense to you as well, because they gave up on the Diadea, but they still took the Arlen.
Of course, like if you analyze like the first two bans from KSG, they say, okay, we already played the Lapu Lapu, so no Lapu Lapu, and you already played the Tramfei, so you cannot pick Tramfei. What's the third best option? Then we have the Diadea, and then the Diadea, they just ban it. They put VP to decide, okay, you don't have a Diadea, what do you want to play? They decide to play a Modzu, and then they decide to play the Arlie. So they just break the composition for future games of having the Diadea with the Arlie, which we know that has been working really well in 2026.
And the craziest part, VP kind of banned out themselves as well. They took up the Haya and the Liang in their own bans, so they kind of banned their own answers to the potential from KSG.
Let's break it down, because I want to look at Ken. what improve. If you can start to improve or even more favor, I think that's going to be a pro.
First, we're going to talk about Liu Lang in the mid, right? This is mine. The initial part, I was kind of wondering when we are taking a look at the draft. Okay, look, in the laning phase, we have the Artie going up against the Chicha. You're supposed to be outraging the Chicha and you should have a good time in the lane. Now, and the second part was they had a lot of pressure onto Silence, who was on the Florentino. We know what the weakness of a Florentino is, 1v2. And that's what VP was like, okay, let's put the Mortar and the Artie on top, switch lanes and see how that works out. But because of that switch, it's meant to be pressure on to the side of Silence. That did not happen because Liu Lang came with a mine, and what a beautiful setup. He even funneled the first blood into the hands of Silence. What does that do? It means it gives him more advantage at the early parts of the game. He can dive now into a 1v2, and within the first 3 minutes of the game, Silence got 3 kills in a row, no deaths. He was ahead in farm, he was ahead in EXP, he was ahead in equipment. And you could see later on, they transferred their responsibility over to Liu Lang. Hai Lang, sorry, on the Heino. But Heino is so slow, his first skill doesn't work as fast as the dashes on the side of the Florentino. He couldn't handle it. So nobody on that part of VP in the first 5 minutes could handle Silence. And what does that mean? The jungler, Ji Hao, actually gets to camp in the jungle and farm the real goal, which is T-Gold here on the early.
I am really sorry about this, but it's just like KSG answered back to this with mobility, with burst damage. They understood that just by taking T-Gold out in the first 2-3 minutes of the game, then the game was done. Why? Because the Ogren needs to be focusing on himself. The Ogren needs to be focusing on getting items and then getting gold, getting the buffs, but then he cannot just actually just go around and be supporting on the lanes. So by taking the Mai Shiranui, KSG puts Liu Lang in a very good position just for him to be setting up and then just to start focusing on one person.
I can imagine that listening to this, that these are causes rather than symptoms of a deeper cause as to what's happening here, which is one team is coming in with a lot of experience, a lot of tools, a lot of tricks of the trade. It's showing up in different ways in the draft, but KSG just have the better end of this matchup by far. And Virtus.pro are doing everything that they can, but they're getting caught when they zig. KSG is zagging. Game 3, though, will give us a chance. And if you think you have an answer to what Virtus.pro should do, maybe you think you've solved the problem. You know how to get $10,000 by sending them the correct draft, the correct bans to ultimately take down KSG. Well, then you can become a part of our creator program. By doing that, you can earn rewards for however much watch time that you get and actually be a part of the EWC ecosystem. Scan that QR code and join us. We want to hear what you think about here. Or
You know, for everyone, when you start thinking about plays and the way that they play, they're very different teams. AGAL, they're methodic, they're slow, they understand how to boil you really slowly. But gaming, aggressive, they love to fight. Who else is aggressive and loves to fight? VP. So what if they just fight aggression with aggression? It might just be a 6-7 minutes because it's a very big gamble, but I do believe that that is the key to success.
I fully agree with that. And Kuaishou Gaming was also one of the first few teams to show what happens if you try to invade, right? But I think teams need to do that. Yes, we had teams who tried to invade their jungle, got first blooded in the attempt of the Crimson Buff, and then it went from 1, 2, 3, 5 kills in the first 6-7 minutes. So, you know what? VP, give it a try.
You know what? Like, let's just go all in red. Let's go. Let's go all in, push all your chips to the middle of the table, man, and who knows, man? Like, right now, you're not winning, so maybe this is going to be a different strat.
Nothing left to lose. Fight fire with fire is the suggestion of our panel. Blam, Rookie, do you agree?
I mean, I have a simple request. Can we not mention 6-7? I've got Rookie here stimming. He can't stop doing it. He's throwing up the hand signs. It's not good. I need him on my broadcast. Can we not distract my co-partner, please? Thank you very much. But he's stopped there. He's no vocal. He's verbal once again.
It's gonna be the retention time of again Z. That's why like this 6-7 thing is happening. But again, coming into this tournament, KSG has been very dominating. 2-0 wins all over. And right now with this best of 5 series, I've seen a perfect draft on the first 2 games.
Yep.
KSG, they like to dominate the side lanes. They're bringing in very strong side laners now. After all of those heroes have been picked, what will they answer on the 3rd match?
Yeah, I mean, my notes for game number 2 looked very little. Like, it looks like Doctor's writing, but the one that you can make out and basically give to other opponents of Kuaishou Gaming, don't give silence to Florentino. Like, literally don't give him that pick. But still, we're seeing Jing being banned out once again, 3rd game in a row. Don't want to give it over to Jaibo, as well as the Diadeer as well. We don't be giving that up now. Obviously, Kuaishou Gaming still have the Arlie available, right?
It's going to be very interesting. Kuaishou, they love the aggressive plays. Arlie is out of the picture. Pei is also gone. Florentino Lorion, also one of the strongest heroes coming into KWC. But then again, there's still Xiao Qiao, there's still Princess Frost and Liang. There's still a lot of combos coming in for this big draft picks. And look at VP.
Yep.
They don't want to give the Guan Yu to their opponents.
Exactly. This was going to be my next point, right? Like, we've seen Virtus Pro use the Zhang Fei. Zhang Fei, we know Kalu loves this pick, and this is something that's still available for Kuaishou Gaming. And obviously, in the past few games, they've used the Lian Po and also the Lapu Lapu. So we're seeing just a huge focus for this tank meta for the side of Kuaishou Gaming, regardless of it being a best of 7. They're like, okay, just give us 4 games. We've got 4 tanks. We can do it. Zhang Fei here being picked up. Onto the side of Virtus Pro, they're going to go for the Lapu Lapu as well as the Aoyin. But this could be countered by the Ali, right?
Yeah, it's very interesting, especially there's still a lot of picks coming in for TSG. There's still Fullborn Movement and also another one which is Chano.
Yes.
2 of the strongest laning farm laners in this meta. But again, picking Long is just basically saying that T-Gold is going to be left alone the whole game to fend for himself and enabling 90 to become the more powerful side here. Speaking of Chano and also Ukyo Tachibana being the 3rd and 2nd pick for KSG, a very aggressive jungle coming in.
Yeah, Zhu Hao loves this pick that he played in the group stage, right? The Yukio, it kind of emulates the same way as Pei. You just got a little bit more burst damage and that potential, and obviously you just get that CC with that ultimate. But onto the side of Virtus Pro, I feel like the Yukio's there just to make sure they don't go for the Pei. But the one pick that has been banned out for the past 2 games that does get to surface right here is the Nurtse, and Jai Bao has had one of the best performances on this hero.
It's scary, right? Looking at the 2 first phase hero picks from KSG, they are very vulnerable for those long-term team fights. That's why Lapu Lapu is going to be a lot for the long game. But if there is a game coming in for the matchup with KSG.
Yep, long game potential here. Obviously, we could look at something to go to complement the Chano for the side of Kuaishou Gaming. We could look at obviously the Xiao Qiao into the mid lane as well, right? Obviously, a good counter to Aoyin, T-Gold. All you need to do is predict that fall of the Infinite Basilisk to then get that knock up with that 2nd skill. The higher being banned here for the side of Virtus Pro means that they're not looking to lose Lapu Lapu or the Nurtse into these team fights, into the Moonskin Mirage. But onto the side of Kuaishou Gaming, they don't want to allow another global ultimate come through. They don't want the Liu Bang.
Yeah, the Liu Bang is going to be very tricky for them to fight against with Ukyo Tachibana. And basically just saying they wanted the long-term team fights without any burst damage coming in from VP side. And look at the ban on the last pick. It's going to be Lorion, the hero with the amount of range that he could just pop his ult, knocking so much. They don't want to face that. But again, they still have a lot of picks coming in. VP, there's a possible control pick, probably a Yuhan, or maybe facing a jungle as Ukyo Tachibana. Lady Zen is still available.
I think they could go for the Nua here as well, right? We see a lot of Nua like to complement the Aoyin, right? You get a bit of a long range, the Annihilation. It can kind of scare, he's hoping to scare you in family.
Yeah, it's going to be that Xiao Qiao pick who is going to be bringing Hailang onto game 3. And Xiao Qiao on this meta has been very dominant in the early game. But if we're talking about KSG, they love to play those close range team fights. Xiao Qiao has been a very close range mid lane. So punishing Xiao Qiao has to be a easy game.
Yeah, they need to make sure that down. Obviously, the Lorian, we've been seeing that kind of head-to-head go up into the mid lane very often. But in terms of obviously Kuaishou Gaming, we have the front line here. We have plenty of burst. We have the late game. We now have the dual marksman combo, right? And there it's going to be the Hue one into the mid lane. So something that we were expecting Virtus is actually going to go for the side of Kuaishou Game, making the fight a little bit more drawn here because of the sustainability of this mid lane pick.
Then again, like early game has been the strongest suit of KSG, bringing the Pharah into this tournament, making them viable for the mid to late game fights. But again, the question is for KSG, how will they dominate with the Pharah on the side lanes without the early game? The Pharah is a very mid to late game hero. He needs a couple of items for him to be viable. And again, the matchup from Team V needs to be strong. Florentino, the gentleman, coming in for Virtus Pro.
The Gentle Blade. Is this good enough? Like, if you've not just been dominated by a hero, do you really want to play it for yourself and then just leave yourself to a huge criticism here? Obviously, 90 has huge shoes to fill. Just seeing the performance of Silence on this pick.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of pressure coming in from 90, but 90 has been performing the best in this whole tournament as a team in VP, being the clash lane, the podium of Virtus Pro. He needs to perform in the big stage, and what's ahead of him is Silence with that Devara pick.
Yes. Silence! Kill you! That's Virtus Pro. They want to get the shutdown of Silence, right? That might be a little bit too more of a niche quote for you, my little partner on the broadcast. Down in front of YouTube and you'll understand a little bit later. But anyway, we're getting on to game number 3 here between Kuaishou Gaming and Virtus Pro. Going to be a quick game once again for Kuaishou Gaming. Are we going to get that 6-minute domination down to the bot side of the map? How is this draft faring in the early game?
It's going to be very interesting. It's going to be the newcomer against the Giants once again. Game 3 on the line in the best of 7 series. Will Virtus Pro be able to be pulling one game out of KSG here? Look at Juhao just dominating the mid lane. A fast clear coming in for those two combos. Juhao and Liu Lang have been impeccable in this series.
Absolutely impeccable indeed. I don't think there's been any kind of weak link on the side of Kuaishou Gaming, right? Like, we know that Liu Lang is probably the longest service teammate on this roster, right? And then everybody else is a little bit newer, but that's not showing right now. If anything, it's showing more of how aggressive these young players are within HOK, right?
Again, they're like one of the youngest teams coming to KPL, one of the youngest champions to ever do it. So again, a lot of pressure on their backs to represent not only their team, but their country. 90 has been amazing, taking control of the Devara, but we know that Devara could be very weak in the first phase of the game. That's why we're seeing Silence playing a bit passive on this first phase.
Bit of a cheeky steal there from Highlang onto the Spike Tail, top side of the map. That was very nice for the side of Virtus Pro. Nice to see that they haven't burnt out yet, right? Obviously, they've been very quick games. It's been very hard for them to keep their mental within this one, but we're not seeing any signs of it cracking, right? But speaking of crack, the flash is being burnt out there by Liu Lang as well as Clue, just so they don't fall that 3-man trade.
It's going to be very interesting coming into VP. They're just trying to read off the aggressive coming in from KSG. And looking at the gold gap, it's very interesting. But not only does 90 gonna bring something to the table, but look at the spell that he's bringing.
Yeah.
It's such an interesting spell against a Devara. Maybe for the late game potential.
Yeah, maybe. If they can get into the late game, right? We just need to get VP there first, and then maybe we'll see the impact of that one. Canceling out the call there for the side of Silence on the side of Kuaishou Gaming. He tries to finesse. 90 gets turned into Day. It's going to be the Skyfall that keeps Jai Bao alive on this Nurtza.
Oh, it's gonna be very, very scary. Like, we know that Discipline is one of the strongest suits, but look at that.
Oh no, he loses the Assure Golem after he's just claimed it. Juho gets taken down. These are the little trades that we needed to see from Virtus Pro a few games ago.
But then again, like, losing the Azure Golem buff isn't the biggest suit. The biggest one is losing the gold and the XP. That's why I was willing to trade that with the first kill that he got on the plane. Again, still a 1-to-1 trade. Nothing too major for KSG and also Team VP. But this was so good, right? If you're looking at Liu Lang, also LFF, just holding outbursts because Florian has the anti-CC skill. His ultimate makes him immune to every CC. That's why he's just waiting there, trying to give help for Silence.
Yeah, it's a hard one to overcome here for the side of Virtus Pro. You have to kind of get a lot of burst down right before he kind of takes the sky. You just get the burn down, hope that Silence goes down very quick. But like you're saying there, I want to go back to the point of where we saw obviously Juho die. This is the difference between some teams globally and obviously the KPL, right? Like, they don't mind dying as long as it means it transitions into something else, whereas most of the global players are still learning not to tell if somebody dies on their team, and I feel like that is an important skill to had, especially when you're playing at such a high level.
Yeah, you gotta hand it to them, like calculating everything, all the skill cooldowns, all the jungle resets and spawn time would be very difficult for a casual player. But KSG, they've won KPL, they're one of the best in the world. That's why they've been doing this for so long as a young team, dominating all of the Gorge.
Yes, speaking of which, the 1-for-1 top side of the map here, we do see the stun come through, but it's giving the CC of Unity here from Silence on the Devara, and we know Florentino, yes, he can dance around, but he's a gentle blade. Means he's got a low health bar. We see a 3-man dive bot side of the map here as well. We see Clue trying to keep T-Gold alive, but the T1 does fall. TP can get an equal trade here for that T1.
It's good, right? Coming in for LFF, just bringing pressure by appearing on the map without having to use any of his skills. We haven't seen one outburst coming in from KSG, and even though he still has that full rage bar, the control of the map is just still on KSG's side. So it's a big advantage coming in from KSG.
It is. They still got it stored up in the back, right? Like, if we see that VP tries to be a little bit aggressive here, maybe think, okay, guys, we are going to go and take the team fight, but they still need to make sure to burn out the LFF ultimate there before they do decide to take that killing blow. But at the same time, to get the blood here for the side of Virtus Pro, do see Lang off heat, well as side going for the blow from up wall as well onto the side of Guaisho Gaming, but you are just beating them here. Jaiba looks low, he gets taken down. Clue as well. He is now in the driver's seat.
Wow, just reacting to that bit by bit, coming in from VP. They're trying to pressure, but 90, he forgot that they need a bigger CC to cancel the portal. But KSG has been very, very good at dominating those big, risky team fights. They made so many skills that came out from VP useless just by calculating how does they take the damage.
This is another good reason why you pick up the U1 into the mid lane, right? Obviously, we saw that T-Gold was not too sure what the target was going to be, but he then lands the Flaming Palms onto Liu Lang. But then he has the Unending Sorrow just to completely mitigate any of that damage going through. So there was really no follow-up. The only thing that Virtus Pro able to get out of that whole mid-team fight was saving that T1 for moment's notice.
Yeah, then again, they need to just farm here, because right now their gold spike, their power spike hasn't reached their fullest potential. 1,000 gold lead coming from KSG. So strong, especially the outputs coming in from LF. Silence, you have reached one of their coming in. The Spark Force makes him so painful against Florentino and also Xiao Cao.
Yeah, it just gives him a little bit more wave clear, right? Like, able to get the attack speed, get the wave clear from the Chained Lightning here as well. But it's looking like a hard match here. We are waiting for Virtus Pro to get that turnaround, waiting for that cruise gauge. We do see just driving himself in there. CC, one of the Virtus Pro, but it's going to be Zhao Bao. He's a little bit too below. He is into the back line, and he is him. Silence gets the kill onto Hylac, onto T-Gold. Down goes 90, and Clue is on the run.
The Raging Thunder God coming in from Silence, dominating the backline, counting so much of the damage, dealing the triple kill pressure on the backline of VP. Looking at how they dominate the team fight, it's so scary. Like, he counted those damage, destroying the tower, blocking the exit way of VP, getting those risky kills, but it was worth it at the end. Go just for that Devara pick.
Oh, absolutely. He's, the back, right? Like, he's like, right, okay, one kill, 2 kill, 3 kill. We're done. Let's get some structural damage come through. Top side of the map has now been dominated onto the side of Kuaishou Gaming. The T2's literally holding on for dear life down into the bot side. And now this is where, once again, we see Virtus Pro becoming at that basically irreparable point of
Yeah.
They lose their Crimson Golem. What can they hold on to, if anything, here, Virtus Pro?
I'll say the same thing as Game 1 and Game
Yep.
2. They couldn't force those risky team fights. We know that Kuaishou Gaming is a very dominating team on those big risky from the waves that are coming to them, because if they're risking fights with KSG now, it's not going to be good for them in the late game.
Not good at all, but there is going to be lots of multiple variables of damage here. But LFF, he uses the ultimate.
Silence.
Can they get him? Silence into the backline. He's like, yes, keep focusing the beast. Don't focus on me. I'm going to get the kills. You picks up Clue, and then once again, nobody falls onto the side of Kuaishou Gaming. I'm at the point in my life right now, after seeing 3 games, I don't think it matters who you give Silence in terms of the draft. He's going to perform.
Dude, Silence has been so good this series. 3 games, 3 best performances, and right now he's going to lead KSG onto the high ground tower.
Lead him onto the high grade tower. The T3 gets taken down there as well. Look at the claim, the T3 top side also, but they're able to get that wave clear here for Virtus Pro. Maybe a little bit of a saving grace, but at this moment in time, we are pre-10 minutes, and we are slowly but surely looking at a 7K gold lead. It feels like every game, it just transitions or translates into more aggression, more gold, and a faster game pace here for Kuaishou Gaming. They are not letting up. It's like the panelists say, right? Why not just let them go blow for blow in an aggressive fight? But it's still not working for Virtus Pro.
Look at the Devara though. The Devara holding 4 players on the left side of the map alone. And he knows that he could fight him. He got the items that ready. The Frigid Charge giving the slow and stun effects. And the Frenzy is still up for grabs. Silence dominating the top lane alone, giving so much space for KSG to get that Shadow Tyrant. And now, looking at the control, falling deeper into the ocean. Virtus Pro, they need to swim up.
They do. They need to share that plank, right? Obviously, it's like when the Titanic fell, there's just no room, but there needs to be room here for 5 members because the ship is going down here for Virtus Pro. Unfortunately, like, we're trying to see a potential comeback here for this team, but it's just not, there's no sign of them, right? Like, a glimpse of hope, but it's all just a playbook of Kuaishou Gaming.
Yeah, Silence making out all those cover and trying to open up the and how he eats up those damages.
Yes, forcing out the Infinite Bastards there just means that T-Gold is going to be another sitting duck. LFF is able to get the connection onto the back line, just keeping Highlang out of that team fight because he knows how frightful that AoE damage could be, but they underestimated the support of Kuaishou Gaming. He gets a triple kill, and now they're looking to take the crystal of game number 3. Kuaishou Gaming make it the match point.
One step closer, going to the top 4. Kuaishou Gaming showing who is gonna dominate Virtus Pro as their teachers.
Yes, I mean, hard lesson to learn, but somebody's got to learn it right. And Kuaishou Gaming, they knew what they needed to do. I mean, you might be stimming out here. There's a lot of brain rot going on in the audience. Calm yourself, rookie, calm